let's go to the Senate Intelligence Committee. What's your overall reaction to this report, the findings of which are in front of me?
Well, I think the important thing is that Senator Feinstein has done a 180 from her earlier September, right after the attack, where she was going along with this whole video concept. Today, she's very stridently opposed to the false statements put out by the New York Times and, of course, by Ambassador Rice in the days to follow Benghazi.
And I am curious, especially, Mr. Chairman, about finding number 7. There was no U.S. military resources in position to intervene in short order in Benghazi to help defend the temporary mission facility and its annex. But then it goes on to quote Major General Daryl Robinson as saying the Strike Eagles that were loaded at Djibouti it would have taken them the distance of Washington to L.A., but it doesn't say they couldn't have gotten there by the time the second battle was over.
Well, you're exactly right. They were not launched. And, of course, the question isn't could they have gotten there in time, because at the beginning of this, no one knew how long it was going to last. For those of us young enough or old enough to remember that famous scene from Top Gun where, he's on his way in and he says, I'll be there in 2 minutes. He says, well, this firefight will be over by then. Well, you don't know that. You don't know how long one's going to go on. It went on 8.5 hours. The truth is they didn't know. The only launch that occurred was Marines were prepped to come in to represent backup security in Tripoli. They took 23.5 hours to get in because they weren't provided military lift, and eventually the lift they got was C-130s that had come down, I believe, from England. But, Hugh, I want you to understand that this statement may be technically true, but let me tell you what isn't in there. We have 3 allies in the region that are supplied with KC-135s famously by us at no cost to them. That's Egypt, Turkey, and Israel. Israel has, I believe, 7 KC-135s, and as you know, the Israelis are always available in a matter of minutes. They're always aware that their attack doesn't give them any standoff. So the real question is, if you know you have refuelers that could take care of our F-16 and make them able to get in from Italy, did you call Bibi Netanyahu? And the answer is no. So did you do everything you could do with our allies to attempt to prepare a relief effort of some sort? The answer is no, and that's not in the report.
Also not in the report, Chairman Issa, is much talk of Secretary of State Clinton. Is this a whitewash?
Whitewash would imply that there's enough cover that you're not seeing something. I think we all see very transparently that Secretary Clinton's administration of the State Department denied the ambassador the security he asked for before the attack, did not allow assets that were available, such as the special ops people who could have gotten into that aircraft and were told effectively to stand down, to come to the rescue. And very, very clearly, she has to own responsibility for one of her ambassadors, even at the direction of the White House, falsely stating it was a video on all 5 Sunday shows.
So is it an attempted whitewash then?
Well, I certainly think the New York Times clouding of the issue, trying to bring up the false statement that it was somehow a video once again, plays pretty close to a whitewash for the former New York senator. But the New York Times has no credibility in truth. They're like a stopped clock. They're right once in a while, but only when the time happens to match when they stop.